And, you got the Rays at 4:15, and then Sweet 16 action going to take off at 6:50, I believe, 6:30-ish, something like that. I don't have the schedule in front of me, but later that night we'll have Sweet 16 action. And I can't wait. Thursday, it just begins the weekend. Friday's going to be a great day. It's because it's Friday. We just got to get through today, and we got to get through tomorrow. And together, we're going to do that. So I have the predictions from CBS Sports for every Major League Baseball division. There are 5 experts. I use that term lightly, but there's 5 experts that gave their predictions on who's going to win each division. And they didn't just give their predictions of who's going to win the division. They predicted the order. And, they've got every single division. For example, the American League Central. All 5 experts picked the Tigers to win the division. The American League West. All 5 experts picked the Seattle Mariners to win the division. When you look at the National League East, you got 3 for the Mets, 2 for the Phillies. National League Central, everybody took the Cubs. National League West, all of them took the Dodgers. So let's go back to the AL East, because actually 3 teams got mentioned finishing first in the predictions, which is the most of any division because it is the toughest division in all of baseball. Out of the 5 experts from CBS Sports to do the predictions for each division here in Major League Baseball before the season started, you have 3 for the Blue Jays, 1 for the Red Sox, 1 for the Yankees. Second place finishes. You've got 2 for the Red Sox, 2 for the Yankees, 1 for the Blue Jays. Third place, 2 for the Yankees, 2 for the Orioles, 1 for the Blue Jays. Fourth place finishes 3 for the Orioles, 2 for the Red Sox. And in fifth place, all 5 of the so-called experts picking the Tampa Bay Rays to finish dead last in the division. Dead last. It's just too easy to do that. Why don't you get a little bit bold? The thing with the Rays is just nobody knows. We don't know. National media doesn't know. This is a team of mystery, more so than ever. Now they're over-under for the Tampa Bay Rays is sitting at 76.5. The only teams lower than the Rays are the Marlins, the Twins, the Angels, the Cardinals, the White Sox, the Nationals, and the Rockies. 76.5. I'm thinking about hammering the over today, Chris Mathis. I'm thinking about placing a futures bet. I don't typically place those because I hate putting money down and then waiting forever for it to hit. But the Rays over 76.5, I kind of like.
Because you think, they at least go 500 this year? Or is it because you believe in the roster?
I think it's because if you go back and you look, they haven't won fewer than 76 games since 2016, which was a decade ago. Even last year's team, which wasn't very good, they won more games than that. I think they won 77 last year. I don't have the record in front of me. 77, 78. I think they could top last year's record. But they are a team of mystery because we don't know what the hell is going to happen with this rotation. Talk about the batting lineup after the 4-hole. And I don't even know if Chandler's going to lead off. So really what's happening after the 3-hole? You got Aranda, you got Caminero, and you have Yandy Diaz. We feel confident there. Who's gonna step up? All offseason long, we've been saying Cedric Mullins, and we've said Gavin Lux. But Gavin Lux is hurt again. He's on the IL. So something's got to get better with Gavin Lux because he just hasn't had many opportunities to play in the spring. And, of course, now he's hurt again, going to start the season on the IL. And he's got big shoes to fill. Nobody expects him to fill the power of Brandon Lau, but we expect you to be in there day in and day out. And so far, he hasn't been able to do that. But, yeah, the over-under for the Rays this season, 76.5. I love the over on that. I think they will go over 76.5. I can't sit here and tell you I think they're not going to finish in last in the division. But I'm at least optimistic. I think with the rotation that they have a chance to be special. They have a chance. I'm not saying I'm betting on them to have a chance to win the division, but I'm optimistic. I'm hoping this can be one of those Rays teams that comes out of nowhere and shocks everybody. That's all we can really sit here and kind of dwell on is hope, because we don't have anything else. Chris Mathis, you see the number 76.5. Over, under?
Well, you're right. I mean, in terms of last year, even last year they won 77 games, and that was with both the Yankees and the Blue Jays having 90-plus wins. The Red Sox had 89 wins. I'm going to take the over as well. Would I say I love the over as you did? No, but I say I like the over here for the Rays. I'm going to gamble on the Rays here, being back at Tropicana Field after having it taken away from us last year. The excitement at game day, the new ownership group that's walked in and taken over for Stu. I think there can be a sense of a potential magical season here for the Rays. Now, as far as they take that, that's up to the players. That's up to the injury front. But I think there's potential for that with this team.
Yeah, they won 77 a year ago, 80 before that, 99, 86, 100, and then they won 40 in 2020, but they only played 60 games. 96, 90, 80, 68 wins in 2016. Before that, in 2015, it was 80, 77, 92, 90, 91, 96, 84, 97. You have to go back to 2007 when they had 66 wins. So, I mean, look, history tells you, and I guarantee in a majority of these seasons, they were probably predicted to finish last, and they still finished over 76.5 wins. You mean to tell me that you think this is one of the worst teams put together all time by the Rays? I don't think so. Since they become the Rays and dropped the word devil, the fewest games they've won in a season is 68. And again, that was in 2016, a decade ago. So I like their chances of going over just because history says they will. You know, looking at their finishes in the division, they have not finished fifth since, even last year they finished fourth. I forgot about that. The Orioles were so bad last year. The last time they finished fifth in the division would have been 2016. And before that, 07, 06, and 05. They finished fourth in 04, and then, of course, they started from 98 all the way to 2003 in the basement. But not a bad track record.
It feels like forever. 2023, they won 99 games, Nick.
Well, 2023 was a fun year. That was when they started off 13-0.
Has it been that long ago? Wow.
It was that long ago.
Damn.
Yeah, 23, they won, was it 13 in a row?
Yeah, I think it was 13 to start off the year, yep.
That was such a fun time. Randy Land, that was a really
Randy
fun
Land,
year.
yeah, I forgot.
Randy Land was awesome.
It was.
Till this day, that was one of the best marketing ideas I've ever seen out of a team. And I think all three teams here have really good marketing teams, but the Rays nailed it with Randy Land. And the whole free beer every time you hit a home run, like that was fun. That was cool. It doesn't cost anything to give away a free beer. At the rate that they sell that stuff at, you know, each one of those cups filled with beer is like 10 cents, if that.
The injuries are what the Rays have to avoid if they can this year.
Well, that's the problem.
That's
they
the
already
issue.
have injuries.
Yep. What was the latest on Ryan Pepio? Some Rays fans are texting in. They heard that you mentioned the injury. What was the latest there?
It was, hold on. Let me see. I'm going to talk about that in the next segment, but he's on the IL. We'll get more into Pepio, and there's also some changes in the rotation as well. We'll talk all about that coming up next at 12:48. But during this break, I think I'm gonna put that bet in, Chris Mathis. I just, history tells me they're not gonna finish last, and history tells me they're gonna hit the over on that. I mean, think about that. It's been a decade since they finished in last in this division. I bet you multiple times they were predicted to finish last in the division and didn't. Is it official? Carson just got called up. What's Mark Topkins' latest tweet, Chris Mathis?
Yeah, going to it now. TB Times _Rays. I mean, he's had so much that's broken down, so many things that have just...
Carson Williams is going to be on the
gosh.
opening day roster.
Yep.
And that's due to Taylor Walls going down. Again, another injury. You have Taylor Walls down, Gavin Lux is down, Ryan Pepio's down. So Carson will be on the opening day roster. Let's hope he can stay on the opening day roster. It'd be nice. If they can get one of these young guys to spark. You know, if the thing is with the Rays, and it's hard really to project, and I understand why the experts have them at last, and I understand the over-under, because you just don't know. But if Neander has one of these off seasons where he just hits on all of these guys, it could be one of those magical years. They're one of those teams that I'll never doubt, but at the same time, those Rays players that we never doubted and they came through, this is kind of a different era. Different era because it's all different players. Most of those guys are gone. You still got Yandy Diaz, and that's about it. Now, Shane McClanahan, I suppose, if you look at the rotation. But for the most part, it's all new guys. All right, the